Well, it's that time of week again, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Franklin, and I'm the Product App Specialist for KITS and your webinar host. So we're now into mid-September. Summer is slowly slipping away, and kids are all back in school. So what a great way to relax by joining me for another Webinar Wednesday. We'll show you the tips and tricks in KITS that'll get you closer to becoming that supercharged power user. Let me also introduce you to Julia, who'll be moderating today's webinar. Julia?
Thanks, Franklin. Hi again. My name is Julia. I'm the Marketing Specialist for KISP, and I will be your webinar moderator for today. So that means if you have any questions for us throughout the webinar, please feel free to submit them in the chat box. It's just located on the GoToWebinar control panel, and I will be monitoring all the incoming questions, and we'll take a few minutes at the end of the webinar to answer them.
All right, so today what we'll be doing is we'll be continuing on from the basics, going into how to use our advanced search feature and configuring pricing. Julia, what do we have today for the community?
All right, so we're going to be going over advanced search using search filters such as catalog, price, and type. We're also going to be showing you how to configure price at the item level and also configuring price at the multi-item level in your list view. So then that will deal with upcharging, discounts, price zones, and bulk pricing.
That's great, Julia. And for those of you not familiar with price zones are different between manufacturers. Now, some use it to cover periods of catalog pricing updates, and some for U.S. Canadian pricing. We'll go through the demo today, and we'll illustrate how that works.
Thanks, Franklin. So to continue from last week's opportunity, Franklin is working with the client to configure a touchdown and casual meeting work area. He'll then have to fix pricing to reflect all seating at 35% off and case goods at 45% off.
All right, great. So what we first need to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up last week's project. So I'm going to go into KITS. Now, what I first need to do is complete the actual requirement. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on or open up my project. And you can see here the touchdown space that we created last week, as well as the casual meeting space. So what I'm missing here are the casual meeting space tables. So I want to go ahead and add that. But to do so, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use the search feature. First, we're going to go ahead and tap on Add Item. And then we're going to tap into the search box. And what we want to do is simply type in the actual model ID number. And obviously, you know, in a best case scenario, you'd want to have your model numbers all ready so you can actually type them in and quickly find them. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and find SSLLT. And I'm going to go ahead and tap on search. And what KITS begins to do is it begins to search all the content on my iPad. That's actually searching all the catalogs that I've synced down to my iPad, as well as all the planning typicals, looking for model ID number SSLLT. Okay, and you can see here I'm actually not using any of my filters, my catalog, price, or type filters. And what we'll do is we'll go through a series of different samples of actually how to search that. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind is this search function differs in time based on the amount of catalogs and planning typicals that you actually have synced down to your iPad. As you can see here, I have quite a bit of content that it actually has to search through, and that's the reason why you can see here that the search bar is running, and it's still searching for SSLLT. And a quick note, because we're actually searching for this in the Trendway catalog, what it's actually doing is it's going through the catalog list alphanumerically, and it's searching through all the catalogs until it gets all the way down to T, and then it starts to search the Trendway catalogs. Okay, so this will shortly populate, and what it'll do is it'll find every instance of the model number SSLLT as it's found in any of the manufacturer catalogs, specifically the Trendway catalog. Okay. So again, the time of the search time will differ based on how many catalogs and planning typicals you have assigned to your iPad. As you can see here, I now have two results showing me SSLLT, both in the FEK catalog as well as the TBL catalog. All right, so what I want to do is I want to bring in the FEK catalog item. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on the plus sign, which brings me to my Add Item submenu in my Scene Builder. So first I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spec this table here. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my colors. And now that it's all dressed up, what I want to do is I want to first do an item level price. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tap on Configure Price. And as you can see here, it brings up the actual Configure Price menu. And you do have some options. I have price zone options. I have my pricing method where I can apply the type of upcharge or the gross profit margin I want to make on this, as well as my discount method. All right. So first I'm going to go ahead and tap on price zone. And like I said, every manufacturer differs in terms of price zone. We can say here for this particular project that this dates back 5 years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use price zone number 3, which is 2011. I'm going to tap on that, and I can see that my value has changed from 700 down to 895. Lucky me, I get more, a little bit more on this project. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use the pricing method to add my list plus. We want to make about 15%, so I'm going to add that value. And then what I want to do is, you can see that I have my catalog list price at $8.95. That's based on the price zone 3. That's the catalog updated 2011. And then here's my adjusted price at $1,029.25. And as Julia mentioned, that for this particular project, all seating gets an additional discount of 35%, and all case goods get a discount of 45%. So I want to make sure that I'm going to include this for my case goods, and I'm going to add 45%. Once that's done, you can now see I have a value of $566.09. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tap on Apply. So here in the submenu, you can see that my Configure Price link has now changed to List Less 45%, indicating that I've now configured that price. So I'm happy with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it into my space, and I'm just going to leave it roughly in between my chairs there, as you can see. Okay. Now I want to go ahead and I'm going to find the same item. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the search filters this time. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on Add Item Menu. I'm going to tap on Reset All, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in a value here. So just remember that the search box isn't a Google search. So you'll need to describe or type in some type of descriptive word that's found either in the model number or in the short summary of the actual item, or you have to plug in the actual model number or typical ID number or anything that can reference anything that's found there. Now, again, it needs to reference as it's phrased, so understanding how the manufacturer actually describes their items is important to actually finding your search and getting that granular search. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tap on Lounge. I'm going to tap Search. And you can see once I do that, it populates with typicals, items, and that's because there's quite a few items that I have on my iPad that actually have the word lounge in the description area. So what I want to do is I'm going to tap on Type, because I do know that I want to search the manufacturer's catalog items only, and by default, the search function actually searches items and typicals. So what I want to do is I want to separate that search looking for items only, so I'm going to tap on items only, and that's now going to change that criteria. So what I can also do to filter down the actual search function is I can go ahead and tap on catalog, and since I know I'm looking for a Trendway item, I'm going to go ahead and tap on Trendway. And once I do that, you can see that it quickly populates all the results showing me the item that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap on that image. And then I'm going to go and specify with the same options. And let's drag that into the scene now. Okay, so there we actually use the catalog filter as well as the type filter. So let's go back and tap on Search, because what I want to show you is you can see there's still quite a few results here. Now, obviously, it's really resulted down to very minimal item results here. So what I want to actually show you is that you can actually create a little bit more of a refined search by also including a price filter. And if I tap on Price, what I need to do is I need to use these scalars to find the range in pricing that I want to search under. So here I know that I need to create a range of 0 to 750. And once again, you can see how quickly kits will work into creating a granular search. So now I'm left down to the two items. Here again, the item in the FEK catalog as well as in the TBL. So I'm going to go ahead and add the FEK. And let's quickly specify that. And let's drag it into the space. So I now have my, my little meeting table set up. So I want to quickly go ahead and configure that. And I'm going to go into Plan View. I'm going to zoom right in. And now I'm just going to arrange them side by side. All right, great. Now let's go to 3D view. I like the way that looks. What I want to do at this moment is I want to cluster these together, because if I decide to move it in anywhere, I want to make sure that it moves all 3 tables. So I'm going to group them together. And then I'm going to go back into Plan View. And I'm just going to make sure that it's arranged properly in my space here. All right, great. So it looks like we have our completed scene. I now have these casual tables here that I can use grouped together, or I can separate them for all 3 chairs. And then I also have my nice little touchdown space. So what we need to do to continue on with the project is we need to go into list pricing to create our bulk pricing now. First off, I want to make sure I turn off my catalog filter. And now I'm going to go ahead and tap on List View. Okay, and you can see here that, again, you're used to seeing the actual search or the list view. This is the item list view. You already know that you can edit the items either by double tapping in the actual line or box area of the item to edit the actual specification, or what you can do is you can tap on the price to also configure price at on this screen. All right, so what we want to do is we want to do a multi-price, we want basically bulk pricing. At the top right, you see that we have the option of configure prices. If I tap on that, a window will prompt asking me to select 1 or more items using the checkboxes to the left of each item. So just so you understand, if you were to tap on configure prices in the list view, this is only for creating bulk pricing. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to tap on the radio buttons that are found left of the actual model, or if it all actually gets the same discount or pricing, you can tap on the radio button left of model, and that will select all items underneath it. But as per the requirement, we need to make sure that we're creating 35% off of the seating, as well as 45% off of the actual case goods. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll. Sorry, I'm just going to turn off my, oh, there we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through the list, and any seating, I'm going to make sure I'm adding to my selection. Okay, so you can see here I only have 2 lines of seating. Now if I go tap on configure prices, that will now lead me into the configure price menu. So I just need to include my pricing method, which is an upcharge of 15%, and then my discount method, which is going to be a list less of 35%. Once I'm happy with that value, I'm going to go ahead and tap on Apply. And you can now see that the seating has now changed for these particular items. All right, so I want to continue this with selecting, let's say, items that are found for all case good items. So what I can do is I can tap on All Catalogs, and I can see all the different catalogs that I'm using at this moment that have actual model IDs or model items that are found in the catalog. So if I go ahead and tap on Capture, what that does is it refreshes my list, only indicating all those items that are found under that catalog. So what I can simply do is tap on Model, and that'll select all the items that are listed. I can then go to Configure Prices again and adjust my pricing. But remember, we need to also include Price Zone, which is Price Zone 3, because this dates back 5 years. So we're going to go ahead and select that. Now we're going to go into Pricing Method. We're going to add that list less, or list plus, which is 15%. And then also the discount method, which is 45%. Once I'm done that, I'm going to go ahead and tap on Apply. And I can see that all my items are now adjusted. All right, so I need to continue on with finishing that pricing method by tapping on Cab Capture here and going into my FEEC and making sure that I select these two tables that I just added. So I'm going to go ahead and add those. Let's configure the prices. That's price zone 3. And that is 15%. And you can see here that the discount method indicates various. Anytime there's any kind of present pricing that's found within your project, Kits will recognize that. That's the reason why it's indicating that between these two items that we've selected, it's now indicating that there's some kind of variance between the two. What we're actually doing is we're making sure that's consistent, so we're going ahead and changing the value for all items. And again, what we need to do is add that 45%. And tap on Apply, and that will now adjust all our items. And you can see here how it's actually changed that one line, and it's now included them into a single line. Okay? So that's pretty much done with the configure pricing. So I'm going to make sure I go back into my 3D view. I now want to set this up so I can produce a nice rendering for my client. I'm going to go ahead and tap on HD Render. And I'm going to go ahead and use the first rendering option. All right, so you can see actually for this particular webinar, what we've done is we've used the actual advanced search to find the items that we're searching for. And then what we did was we went ahead and we created new pricing based on the actual criteria for the project. All right, so once I'm satisfied with this, I'm going to make sure I save it to my photo library, just in case I need to use it at a later date. I can even go back in, and as I always like to do, create a plan view as a line drawing, just in case my client wants to see the actual plan view of it. That takes a few seconds. So I got quite a few renderings to use here. I'm going to go ahead and create a quick sheet by tapping on the share icon and tapping on Create Quick Sheet. Here it's going to prompt for you to save the actual project. I just did that. And now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to change the quick sheet name to KISP Office. And then we're going to choose one of these nice renderings. I'm going to go ahead and use the one that has the nice colors to it. And then I'm going to go and make sure that I do not use this discount method here at the project quick sheet. All right. So this is actually a very important feature to understand. Whenever you use item level pricing or multi-item bulk pricing, you need to use that separate of using the discount method at the end during, through the actual quick sheet. Because if you actually add the discount here in the quick sheet, what that does is it doubles up the discount that you're providing your client. Okay, so you want to make sure that this remains off and that you don't add any value at this moment, unless you just need to decide which discount method works best for you for your estimation, whether you want to use it at the end during the quick sheet here or at the item level. All right, I can certainly add that custom cell line item, and you could add anything here. I always like to add my shipping and handling. And we're going to say that's going to be roughly about $500. I can add my notes here. I'm just going to type in, here's your estimate. Obviously, you want to be a little bit more detailed than I am. And then I do have the options of deciding what I want my client to see. Because right now, the client will see in this PDF the actual pricing that we've set for this project, as well as all the items that are listed. So this is a great way for you to understand how you can protect your bid, because what I can do is I can certainly turn off all those details and just give them an estimate with no actual item details, or I can decide what kind of details I want to show them. If I just want to show them simple model numbers, I can certainly do so, but what the client actually doesn't see here is how we actually got to these values. They don't see the finishes that have been selected, and they don't see the discounts. So this is a great way for you to create that bid and to protect your bid. All right? And once I'm satisfied with that, I can go ahead and tap on Send. Just remember that it's going to use your default email on your iPad, so if it's not your professional email, you may want to send it to your professional email first. If not, you can go ahead and send that. and off you go. And that's pretty much it. We've now shown you how to use the advanced search and the configure pricing